Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
Welcome to the show, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast, and today we have on Frank Bertini. Frank, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Mike. Thanks so much for having me on. So I started a solopreneur business about 10 years ago in 2015, and we sell testing equipment to businesses all over the world. So recently, in the last year, I've decided to go out and actually help people start their own similar businesses in B2B sales. So I teach people how to become their own distributor and sell equipment all over the world. So I've been getting involved with social media and starting my personal brand. And that's really why we're sitting here today, is because I guess you had reached out, saw some of my stuff and wanted to learn more. So thanks again for having me.
Definitely, man. Definitely. We're going to get into your journey with social media in a bit, but just for the curiosity of the listeners, what is it exactly you sell in terms of not the coaching, the actual business?
Yeah, so my main business, I call it the model business, and this is the business that I operate every day and I use to teach people how to start their own business. So we sell a type of machinery called tensile testing equipment. And what it does is it pulls materials apart or crushes them, bends them, punctures them to do material testing on the material. So if you look around, everything is a man-made material, whether it's a piece of plastic, steel, tape, and all these different materials need to be tested for their core properties. How strong are they? Will they hold up? So any sort of bolt going into an aircraft, any sort of medical device, all this equipment, all these products need to be tested. And we sell the machinery to do that. So we sell to other businesses, and the great thing about it is it's a solopreneur business. So I purchase the equipment from established manufacturers and then resell it under my own brand. So it's a white label branding of these testing machines.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you do testing you test machineries. You sell testing equipment to machineries, right? To organizations that use machineries.
That's right. So our testing equipment is basically a big machine. It almost looks like a press, and it pulls a material apart. So you'll put in like a piece of steel and it'll pull the steel apart and it'll tell you how strong it is, 10,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds. So if you're getting a new supplier, maybe from Germany or China for this raw steel, and you want to know if it's good material or bad, you put it on the machine, you test it, you pull it apart, and it'll tell you, hey, it's strong enough or it's weak enough. But essentially anyone who makes anything, whether it's a piece of tape or you're opening a can of soda, literally anything has to be tested to know how strong it is.
Amazing, amazing. So how did that transition into coaching? What was the motivation to go into coaching? Was it like you saw the opportunity to make, a couple extra zeros in the bank, or what was it?
Yeah, it wasn't so much the money, because honestly, the testing machine business sort of funds the coaching business right now.
Yeah.
But what I wanted is I didn't want to just like sit in a dark room all day making money and talking to, these random industrial companies. Sure, it's fulfilling and everything, but I wanted to sort of give back. I felt like there was more I could do. And that's really what spawned it. And I had a bunch of people actually ask me when I left my corporate job, how are you supporting yourself? What are you doing? How can I do something similar? Because I had a corporate sales job for many years alongside this testing machine business. And so it was really like a side hustle to start. And it got so big, I was able to do it full time. And a lot of people were asking me, how did you do that? And that's why I started the whole thing, is really just to do a little bit more. And then one other reason is I saw a lot of these business influencers talking about similar sort of ideas and topics that I had thought about 10 years ago. So words like solopreneur, I did that in 2015, and people are just, in 2019, 2020 and later. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I know a lot about it, and I just felt like I could give a lot more. And a lot of coaches and courses, businesses, they assume you already have a business and you're just perfecting it or making it better, or you already have a business idea. What I do is I teach people how to start from scratch, literally nothing, and go all the way to like a full business within about 3 months.
Amazing. I think that's amazing. It's amazing motivation as well. It's like the money is there. I speak to a lot of coaches on this podcast, and some of them reach that level where the money is not really the driving force anymore. They kind of graduated. They've transcended into being a coach who wants to help. That's their mission. That's the thing that gets them up in the morning. And I think that's amazing. It's an amazing level to get to. So let me ask you, the social media journey, how did you start? Why did you immediately start it on social media? And what was the hardest part?
Yeah. So when I started the coaching business, I realized that a big part of it was going to have to be social media. For years in my personal life, I had actually stayed away from it just because of the privacy and the tracking and all these different things, you hear about, delete Facebook and everything like that, right? So I didn't like social media when I started the coaching, but I realized that it was going to be the key piece. And really the reason for that is because it's essentially free advertising. So the impressions, the views, there's no other way to get that. So 10, 20, 30 years ago, you'd have to get a commercial on TV with, the big 5 or big 7 television stations. Now what you do is you make shorts and you drive the audience from your shorts to your longs on YouTube. And then from there you start converting. I also have a school community. So I have these different funnels that people can sort of find me and eventually get to me. So it's really just like free distribution for my media. And that's why I like it so much, why I use it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you've only been in it for a year and you stayed away from your personal life. So I'm curious that you know a lot about, funnels and everything. Did you invest in any sort of mentorship?
Yeah, so along my journey, I definitely invested in a couple different courses, and then there's so much free content online too, like all the big names, Alex Hormozy and Russell Brunson, and all these big guys in the industry, they're giving it all away for free, and exactly what to do. And that was one of the things when I started, I was trying to be like creative and new and do all these things like unique. But really, they just tell you, just copy what I'm doing. I'll tell you exactly what to do. And you don't want to overthink it too much, because once you do that, you mess up the process. So I really just focus on like what's working for other people and do that as much as possible. Yeah, that's the best way to go, because you'll fool yourself. Yeah,
it's the old saying. I think it's an American saying as well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So that's social media. You find what's working. You take what you can from that. Take as much as you can from that while still maintaining your own personal touch, and put it out there, because it's worked for a reason. The algorithm is not some bot in a dark room. The algorithm is people. So if people like this piece of content, if you make something like that, they're going to like it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things I learned too, is like, it's not the algorithm, it's the audience. So I'm not really focused so much on like huge audience and viewership. I'm focused on like my target clientele. And really a lot of those folks are on LinkedIn. And then oddly enough, I'm finding a lot of people on TikTok too. So Instagram has been a little bit less successful for me. And Snapchat, not so much. So my 2 big ones are really LinkedIn and TikTok, oddly enough.
So you were saying you were finding a lot of people on TikTok, but not on Instagram. I'm curious, why do you think so?
Yeah, I'm I'm not sure. I think it's like the platform. The TikTok seems to be a lot more interactive, like messaging people and liking posts, and I just seem to get a lot more traction in there. So yeah, TikTok and LinkedIn, it seems to be the two big ones. I think Instagram is a little bit better. So my content is a lot of shorts, a lot of video shorts, and Instagram is really great for like pictures with the words. And I do a little bit less of that. And also I'm just focusing on making my content for the specific platform. Each platform has its own little nuances. Yeah. And at least for me, I'm just not big on Instagram. So I'm not focusing on it. I'm focusing where my strengths are. That's the big thing.
You said you just got big, or you're just not big?
I'm just not big. I'm not big on Instagram. Oh. Like when I post on there, it just doesn't get as much reach as on LinkedIn or on TikTok. Like on LinkedIn, I've gone viral a couple times with my videos, just getting like a couple 100,000 impressions and just like huge reach, and nothing like that on Instagram or what's the other? Snapchat. YouTube Shorts is a tough one too. YouTube Shorts. I think it's just the algorithm on each one is a little bit different. So you have to tailor towards that, and the audiences are different, and the way the whole platform works is a little different.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
Instagram, you weren't finding a lot of let's say fun. You weren't finding a lot of people, and I will say, like, because we've been doing this, and what we focus on in terms of our company, we focus on Instagram. We post on all the rest, all the big five, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. But we focus on Instagram because Instagram is where we drive. Because our thing is not just making you viral. We will make you viral, but we will get you leads. So we get leads through Instagram, right? So that's why we focus on Instagram, because that's where we get our leads in terms of being able to convert them into DMs. Is that something you do?
I see. Yeah, and I've heard about that, like converting in the DMs, sending messages back and forth and stuff. And maybe that's where I'm missing out on it, is I'm not doing a lot of that like organic outreach and conversations and trying to close people in the DMs. My main close is, or my soft close is, to get them into my school community, which is free. And then from there, I upsell. So maybe it's partly my focus, maybe it's the clientele, and then maybe it's also like my method. I think you can be successful on any of them. It's just a matter of,
definitely.
Yeah, you just got to figure out like how they work. And I just haven't cracked the code there. I think it's more me than the platform, more than anything.
Yeah. I think Instagram is, and Instagram, you said that the platforms like specific things. TikTok is amazing for reach. In terms of just reach, TikTok is amazing. It's like, also in terms of quality of content, TikTok is more living room type of content, if that makes any sense. Like, you could just whip out your phone and say something and you could go viral. It's not really easy to do that on Instagram. With Instagram, it's a lot of aesthetics play a role. You said it's image, because they have been an image platform for a long while. So that aestheticism still ties into the videos. So like, does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah, definitely. That, like, it's all like the font and the color schemes and everything.
Yeah.
Like Instagram's very like polished look, and just like you said,
TikTok, polished. Is
just that raw. Exactly. Yeah. And I think I do a lot of editing on my videos. Like, I really try to make sure that it's a solid video, and I even cross post on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, just TikTok and LinkedIn seem to be my my two niches right now.
Yeah. So let me kind of ask you, how have you been getting? Have you launched the course?
Yeah, I have. So actually, we launched the first cohort in early February. It's an 8-week course, and I'm on week 6 or so. So I'm almost done with the first launch. And actually, we've got several people going through it. One guy, he's starting a quantum computing business, selling equipment for that. And then the two other people are robotics businesses, and then a few other people have signed up for the next cohort. So it's up and running. Yeah, it's exciting. And really it's like a lot of people, what I found is like people need to have a certain amount of time that they've either spent with me or spent with my content. So
material,
like they almost need like to hit like this like bar, and then once they're there, then they trust me, they like me, they feel like they know me, even if I might not know them. So it's kind of a lot. It's like 8 to 10 hours. I found something like that is like what I kind of gathered. Yeah.
Google did a study. Google themselves, they did a study. And it's like they found out that it takes 7 hours for someone to buy your stuff off the internet. It takes 7 hours over 11 different touch points over 4 different social media platforms. So this is the 7-hour rule that Google found. So like,
I see.
And you know why it is? It's because it was never this high. It's because social media people, I will say bad people, have taken advantage of it, in terms of scamming people. And it's like, trust is at an all-time low. Every 2 scrolls you see an ad. No one wants to see an ad. People want to follow people who they like, So that's one thing organic has over ads. Ads work, don't get me wrong. Ads are amazing if you got that money. But no one wants to see an ad. So if you're doing organic really breaks that barrier of like, he's not trying to sell to me. He's just my friend. I know him on social media. And you really see the power of it when you take sales calls. You probably take sales calls for your cohort as well, right?
Yeah, I'm still doing all my own sales for the coaching business and the model business. So yeah, a lot of sales, a lot of marketing.
Exactly. Yeah. You should be closing upwards of 80% if the content is right.
And that's how I organize it, because I don't have time to spend on like a 30% close rate or a 40% close rate. Like that would absolutely kill me, because that means 2/3 of my time is like just nothing. So I have to have the good marketing, the organic, people coming to me, set it up in a way where they can like find me and get to me, and it's easy and low like mental bandwidth. And then when they want to reach out, they can, because I'm not going to be able to change their mind or convince them like, hey, work with me. Like,
exactly.
I'm trying to get them to start a business, which means like
they have to be sold.
Yeah. Like I can't. Yeah. So that's the thing. They're not going to invest 1,000 hours in starting their own business if just by talking to me for 20 minutes and me pitching them. It's just
exactly.
So but that's why it's been working well, is because it's organic and it's their decision, and that's what I like about it. It's an education based thing.
Amazing. I love how we're getting into your stuff and how you're doing it. Kind of what's your strategy to get clients on social media? Obviously we know you use social media, but what's kind of the strategy? You said you don't do a lot of DM selling.
Yeah, so like I just mentioned, I'm not going to be able to convince someone in the DMs just because it's not that type of product. I mean, I think it could help. Maybe I'll add it. Maybe at least a chat bot, one of these mini chat bot type things, at least to get the conversation started. I'm not quite there yet, but for my strategy, so what I do, there's roughly 7 social platforms. I post at least once every day and try to post twice. And when I post, I make it like a pure value post where I'm giving some sort of tip about how to run business or some mindset post or something like that. I really like all like the universe and manifesting stuff. Like if you really like think and set your intentions on doing specific things, that it'll come back to you. So I just try to throw out like some really good energy, really good educational content, and some stuff sticks, some stuff doesn't. And what I do is I recycle the good stuff. And then I also do a lot of research and a lot of scripting. So I'm seeing what's working with other people, whether it's the hook, the story, the offer, the headline, what B-roll I'm using. So when I look at social media now, I actively consume it. So I'm sitting on one phone. So I got 2 phones. I got my Apple and my Samsung. So I'm looking at it on the Apple, and I got my Notes app over here. So really like, oh, I like that font. Oh, that's a good hook. Oh, that's a good like 1, 2, 3 listicle. How can I do that for myself? So at the end of the week, I have all these ideas. I have 20 or 30 ideas in my phone about what to do. And then I sit down either on a Saturday or Sunday, spend 2, 3, 4 hours and film it all. I script it. I use ChatGPT to script. I have a couple prompts to tell it, hey, I'm, you know, the best social media influencer in the world. Help me write a catchy hook that grabs attention and a catchy script. That actually works better than me just freewheeling it. And so it writes it down.
Tweak it after.
Yeah, I tweak it a little bit because, you know, the punctuation sometimes ChatGPT or it's too repetitive. And then I'll film for 2, 3 hours and I'll get like 40 videos, and that'll be my content to pull from for the week. And then each day I edit. So each day I spend about 30 minutes or an hour doing my edit for that day. And that's actually the most fun part, is the editing. I like to do that because I can be creative and use B-roll from different movies like Wolf of Wall Street or some of these other like top movies about business and, you know, making sales and stuff. And that's been working really well for me. Eventually I'll get an editor and kind of like offload some of this like grunt work. Yeah. Cause it's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of work, a lot of different skills, a lot of things to learn, but
Yeah, you know, I'm smiling because you want to say something?
No, go ahead. Yeah, you probably run into the same stuff.
Yeah, I'm smiling because all the stuff you mentioned is like you sound like someone who's been through our course in terms of our social media course, because we don't just do a done for you service. We actually have a course for people who can't afford our services. It's part of, you know, Cash's way of giving back. So like, you sound like, that's why I'm smiling. It's like, man, everything he's mentioning is on point, you know, from the scripting to the research to finding what's working and doubling down on that. That's really, because we, in that course, we gave away our strategy, but we're not going to do it for you. That's exactly. So that's what we do. And that's what works. And it's the boring part. No one wants to sit on social media and be taking notes. They want to be scrolling and kind of, you know, doom scrolling. So it's the boring part, but that's what we help our clients do. And that's what works. So that's why I was smiling.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I think a lot of people think the whole social media thing is just like, hey, pull out your phone and record yourself and post it, and like there's no, you know, you're lucky or you're not lucky. You're good looking or you're not good looking. Like they just think it's some like you're chosen, but actually there's a ton of like there's a science to it. And if you do the science, if you just like shut up and do like what they're saying, probably in your course, like, and I see, like I said earlier, a lot of people like try to do their own thing, try to be creative, try to like go against and like, I'm gonna do it my way. That's the biggest thing holding people back is that almost like ignorance, that like they're gonna learn it, figure it out, and do it better than like what the course says and what the experts. This is the one case where you want to trust the experts. I'll say that. The social media experts.
You know, because like again, the algorithm doesn't hate you. Your content just sucks. It just sucks. Your scripting is bad. You don't have a good hook. You don't know how to get in proper lighting. You don't know how to make content snappy. You don't know how to do the little edits where you have the B-roll or the movie clips, you know, Jordan Belfort and all that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All
that.
No, I was gonna say one of the craziest things I've seen is actually like professional actors that you see in major movies, when they go to do social media and like whip out their phone to like take a video on their couch, it's terrible. It's so bad. Like like they're just like a normal person. It's really weird to watch, like once you see kind of what I'm talking about. Like, and I think that's why a lot of actors don't even do like real social media user generated content, is because it's actually extremely difficult. Like you said, the lighting. So I need to know about the frame and the picture and getting like your head square in the shot, and then all these different things, the scripting. So now you're like writing, you're a copywriter, and the video editing, like it's difficult. It's difficult to do, but not impossible.
It just goes to show that, you know, social media is just another skill. Just because you're a good speaker on stage, just because you're a good actor, doesn't mean you're going to do well on social media. It's a different environment. You know, you could be, let me put this in an army context. You could be the best guy in the fucking Air Force. But you come on the ground, or you go to the water, it's absolutely different. You're an amazing guy on the air, but it's not your playing field. You have to learn, you have to play by the rules, except you're gonna get, you know, popped. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, playing by the rules. I think that's the big thing. Like, you gotta, you know, do your captions a certain way and do your lighting a certain way, and all these things that, like, people, when you're doom scrolling, people overlook. But if you're actively consuming it and you study it, you can make your stuff really good, really fast, is what I've noticed.
Yeah.
By taking one of these courses. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, no video goes viral by mistake. That's one thing. Nothing goes viral by mistake. There's a reason. You just have to study it. Let me kind of ask you that. Let me kind of ask you, what is your goal for 2025 for you? I'm not going to ask about your business, because your business is pretty sick and pretty. I don't think anyone's competing with you, so you're probably killing it. What's the big goal for you in 2025 for you and your coaching business and your personal brand? I think most important.
Yeah, so I set several goals for myself. I think everyone does, and I put them into like separate buckets. So I have like my business and money goal, and then I have like my personal health goals, my relationship goals, and then sort of my love life, right? So those are like the 4 corners. So I have goals in all these buckets, but at least for my business and the social media thing, it's to reach 10,000 followers across all platforms. So right now I'm at about 6,000, and I actually keep all of my goals on a card, and I keep it just right in my wallet. So I learned this from Bob Proctor. Yeah, you write down all your goals, like your 4 or 5 top goals, and you put them on something physical. Like, you can put them in your phone, but it's just not as real, I think. So every time I open my wallet to get some money or something, get my credit card, I see it. So yeah, I have sales goals and some numbers on here and stuff, but the big thing is the 10,000 total followers, and I'm at about 6,000, so it's definitely within reach. And really, it only takes a couple viral videos to go big. Like, if I look back, like 2,000 of those followers were from one video, another like 500 followers were from one other video. So like half of my following is from like 3 videos, and you never know. So every day is just another another swing to try to go viral, and you get a little bit better each time.
Definitely. I think we've kind of gone through everything. Let me kind of ask you, what is one thing you wish I asked you on this podcast?
Let's see. I don't know. We covered the gamut pretty well. Oh, I guess maybe one is like how you found me, or like what stuck out, but I don't know if you like do the research to source the calls. But I'm always interested when I talk to people is like what they saw or see in me, or like after talking, or like what is your impression? You never get that like real feedback from people, and I love getting like real honest, even if it's like hard to hear type of feedback. Yeah.
That's kind of strange, because this podcast is like people sign up for it. You didn't sign up?
Well, I did, but I guess the first thing that came to, I don't know, I like sign up, or like I get a lot of back and forth, so it's hard to track it all. Like, I just
maybe a friend recommended you and we sent you a mail. Maybe that's what happened. That's
okay.
What happened. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But I'm while we were speaking, I was looking at your stuff. Your stuff is actually good. I'm looking at the Instagram specifically. I wasn't able to look at, and it's good, like in terms of what you're doing, and it seems you're consistent as well.
That's the thing. The consistency is huge. Once you like drop off for a month, 2 months, people like lose track of you. Even I think about when I used to be on social media years ago, like just for personal stuff, I would follow, some gym person or something. And one day you just, stop looking at their videos, and then like you go to look back and you're like, oh, like something bad happened to them, or they just quit, or the one thing with this whole thing, social media, business building, is just like, don't quit. The only person that's going to like stop you is yourself. I've seen so many people get canceled, come back. Like Dave Chappelle has been canceled 10 times in his career. So you can only cancel yourself. That's the big thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think this has been an amazing one. We've kind of gone full circle, kind of talked about everything. Yeah, man, definitely. Hopefully we can have you on some other time, speak about some other stuff, because like you're really a student of the game. And I love that. I really do appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah. And I'll be better. Another year, another 2 years, the following will be bigger. I'll be doing more things. So yeah, I'm just getting started. And it's cool too to find people like you see everyone on social media and they're like here at level 10 and you're at like level 1, and seeing people that are like at level 2, level 3, level 4, that's hugely valuable because you're never going to be able just to get there. So I like programs like this and podcasts and like different groups that have those like mid-stage people that are up and coming, because you can see like who's going to be good, who's going to have like the longevity and stick around. And so I think I'm one of those people. I'm definitely like organizing the whole thing to be able to like do this for 5, 10, 15, 30 years.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, this has been amazing, man.
Cool. Well, Mike, thanks so much for having me on. It was great talking to you, learning a little bit more about your program and everything you're doing over there. So yeah, thanks again.
Yeah.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?